Hi, I'm JT Bertram. Welcome to People and Projects. And sometimes we talk about great projects. Today, an interesting person. Welcome to Ron Smith. So nice to have you here today, Ron. You
JT,
are you're a award-winning speaker, a business owner, business leader, video producer, sales professional, public speaker. Sounds like you do one of all. Here's how I got to this interview, Ron. A fellow coworker came home to the office a couple of weeks ago and said, "Oh my goodness, I met Ron Smith. You have got to interview him." I don't know a whole lot more than that, other than you were downright engaging and you inspired Charles Miller in a big way. So I understand that's kind of what you do for a living, though. You inspire people to find their gifts and to connect with people. Yes?
that's very true. And JT, thank you so much for having me today. It's a blessing to be with you. And I had the opportunity to meet Charles at the recent Unite Columbus event that was put on by For Columbus at One Church, being held in Gahanna a couple weeks ago.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, tell us a little bit about you. Let's get to know Ron Smith. So, what should we know about Ron?
Well, I've spent my entire career in radio, much like yourself. I had the fortunate opportunity to start in radio at the age of 14, thanks to my speech teacher. In high school. So I like to joke that Ryan Seacrest and I both started at the same age, but he's made a lot more money than I have. But we both started at the age of 14. And so I've been here in the Columbus radio market as a radio news anchor for going on 44 years. And I really enjoy radio. But also at the same time, I've had the opportunity to have an audio video production company called SOH Productions, which stands for Serving Only Him. He's the owner of the store. I'm just the keeper. And as a business owner, I had the opportunity to get engaged in our community and be active with what's happening in our community through the Chamber of Commerce. And being a part of the Chamber of Commerce, I was elevated to the opportunity to serve as our vice chair for 6 years. And during that time, our local food pantry had approached the board of the chamber and said, we could use a chamber representative over here on our board. Would you be willing to serve in that capacity? And I said, absolutely. Because my mantra growing up in our family as an only child with parents as teachers was always others before self. And so the number of times that I would see my parents as teachers do things for kids in their classroom for needs that needed to be met, that's what I grew up doing. And so being able to be involved in the nonprofit space and to be able to give back in our community, I jumped at that opportunity immediately. And through serving on that board, I had the opportunity to connect with a lifelong friend in the hometown I grew up in called Westerville on the northeast side of Columbus. And he was starting a nonprofit 9 years ago called Neighborhood Bridges. And Neighborhood Bridges does acts of kindness for families, children, and students in need. And he was looking to expand that beyond Westerville. And we brought it to Gahanna. And over the last 9 years, we've been able to grow that to over 68 communities across 4 states and impacted over 634,000 people, all through volunteerism, doing simple acts of kindness for people in need.
That is absolutely excellent. What are some of the things that the organization does to help folks? I bet you it's a kind of a hands-on organization, yes?
Yes. So we rely on advocates or professionals to refer to us needs that they see in the classroom. And so an advocate can be a teacher, it can be a counselor, a social worker, principal, vice principal, even members of the community. It can be a pastor, a first responder. These advocates let us know of the needs of the children, students, and families in our community that are in need. Then we have a group of individuals that say, you know what? I'd like to follow you and I'd like to help out if I can. So we have people, 42,000 right now, that receive an alert at 10 o'clock in the morning every morning that says, these are the current needs. Can anybody help? And so within minutes, we have a solution. We had a single mom with 3 kids, 13, 10, and 7, that were sleeping on the floor on air mattresses that didn't even have air. And within 6 minutes, I had 3 twin beds to deliver to the family. That's the power of the system.
Wow. I love that. Okay. So started in Westerville, graduated, stretched out to Gahanna. Where all do you cover now? I heard you say 4 states.
4 states.
Wow.
We're all across the state of Ohio now. We're also throughout central Ohio. We've also expanded to the state of Alabama, also Tennessee and Mississippi. And so we've continued to grow and to be very effective with over 68 school districts now across that region. Now, part of the success that we've been able to experience with Neighborhood Bridges, and we truly feel it's been a blessing to be able to do that. And it's not of our work, but it's through his work that we're able to do this. We feel that another way that we can also help is to elevate other nonprofits, their missions, and the mission that they're on to have the same success that we've been blessed to have. And that's where the Bridge to Kindness comes in. The Bridge to Kindness mission is to raise awareness of who the nonprofits are in our community and how you can use your gifts and talents to be a part of those nonprofits to help them help people in need. And so there are 22 spiritual gifts that is a list that you can find biblically. And what we challenge you to do is take a spiritual gift assessment, and we can help you do that. Take 5 minutes, take a spiritual gift assessment, and find out what your gifts and talents are, and then align yourself with a nonprofit that can help you use those talents to bless others. If I was to do a man on the street interview with you and ask you to name every nonprofit in your community, you could probably name maybe 5 or 6. Well, the scary thing is, in the population we have here in Gahanna of 37,000 people, we have 27 nonprofits. Most people can name 5. And so giving the nonprofits a platform where their voice can be heard and also tell the stories of how they've impacted individuals can actually generate awareness to get the volunteers they need to better serve their community. My favorite example of this was a Chamber of Commerce president in Ardmore, Alabama. Now, if you've never been to Ardmore, if you drive down Main Street, Ardmore, that side's Tennessee, that side's Alabama.
Oh,
you can buy a lottery ticket on that side of the street. You can't on that side of the street. But she was listening to her morning show called the Rick and Bubba Morning Show, which is heard weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on great radio stations across Georgia, Alabama, and South Carolina, and heard on 35 radio stations. And they heard about what we were doing with Neighborhood Bridges in 23 cities across Alabama and said, you know what, we'd love to have you on our show. Can you share some stories of success? You have 4 minutes. Ready? Go. Sure. We happened to share a story of how we helped somebody in need. And Yolanda, the director of the Ardmore Chamber of Commerce, heard this story. And she said, you know what? Why aren't we doing that to help people in our community? We could help people right here in Ardmore. We need to do that here. Because she stepped up and out. In her first year, over 74 people were impacted in getting help in times of need because she stepped up, she stepped out. Now, I can't tell you if those people would have received help any other way. That's not my point. My point is she's heard in her soul, I need to be able to use my gifts and talents to bless my community and help others. How can I do that? And so all we're doing is taking that same proof of concept. You see it on the network news all the time. They end their newscasts with feel-good stories, the last 4 minutes of the newscast every night, saying this is how a community member helped another community member through a simple act of kindness. We're just amplifying that and providing a bullhorn and a megaphone to organizations to become more widely known so that we can have more impact in our communities. The larger our region grows, the closer we need to be to know each other and how we help each other in times of need. We can't be siloed. And that's the entire purpose behind the 2 projects.
Very cool. Now, real quick, you've got folks listening today, Dayton area, Cincinnati area. Are you in those areas already? Yes.
Yes, we are.
All over
yes,
the way.
We are.
Great.
Now,
if someone hears from a community and they don't know about you, how can they get involved?
All you have to do is go to the bridgetokindness.com website, fill out our Contact Us page, and we would love to come out and speak to your organization and your community about how we can bring this movement to your community and how we can unite together and provide you the skeleton and the framework to make this work in your community in an amazing way. We are not here to take the place of anything that's happening right now. We are here just to be another resource that people can turn to. As an example, you might have a local food pantry that provides food to their people that need food, but somebody comes in and needing auto repair. You know what? No problem. Just give Neighborhood Bridges a call. We're on the scene and we can help out with that auto repair, and you can provide that referral. We know that food is your lane of travel, but we also know that we have the ability to be able to forge the relationships to be able to help in that situation. You don't have to turn anybody away. Just say, you know what? We have a partner that we work with at Neighborhood Bridges. Let me refer you to them, and together we can help solve your situation. And so that's what this is about. We're not here to take the place of anything that's happening right now. We just want to aid and help to impact more people.
Downright inspirational you are, Ron Smith. Thank you. So now, what's the future? Do you see it growing, expanding territory? What's the future for Bridges?
The future for Bridges is to continue to gain referrals from one school district to another, because school administrators talk to each other about how needs are being met within their district. And so we get referred, we're in Lakota, we're in Lebanon, we're in Kings Local, several school districts around the Cincinnati area. Lakota is actually one of the largest school districts in the state of Ohio, and we serve them with our project. We're around the Dayton area with Beaver Creek and Troy and several areas around the Dayton area that we can help with, but would like to do more. And so the future is that what we can do is have district refer to district, or resident people refer that, this is working here. We'd love to have you here. We'd like to be able to do that. And so working with our local community leaders, we're hoping to accomplish that.
You in Newark, Lancaster?
Yes, we are.
Let me try to think of a city that I'm just joking. I'm so glad to hear it. I love what you're doing.
If you go to neighborhoodbridges.org, neighborhoodbridges.org, you can click on communities and then click on the state of Ohio, and it'll provide you an alphabetical listing of every city, because every community has their own Neighborhood Bridges site where the needs are posted. And so you can actually go out there on a daily basis or sign up to receive the alerts, up to you. Yep. But you can click on communities, click on the state of Ohio, and then there will be an alphabetical listing of every area that we are in the state of Ohio.
And if you go there, you see your community not listed, you may be the new director. Is that how that works?
Well, we're not asking you to step up and step out and serve as the area director. But if you are willing to say, you know what, I'm willing to put the leadership of my community around a table and say, these are the folks that make a difference in my community. Let's see how we can do this together. I don't have time working full time in my present job, so to speak, that I could lead this. But you know what? I think my community could benefit from this. And I'm willing to provide the contact information or set up a lunch and learn where you can come in and do that. Because in every community that we work in, we have what's called a steering committee. It's not a board, it's a steering committee. And on that steering committee, it's made up of fire chief, police chief, superintendent, 3 teachers, counselors, social workers, 3 parents, 3 business owners, Chamber of Commerce director, Convention and Visitors Bureau director, local pastors of churches, because they have the tentacles in the community. Yeah. And they find out about the needs. And those 9 people generally know that the cream rises to the top. Hey, we've got these 2 ladies that head up the PTO at the local elementary school. You know what? They would be perfect to serve as the area director for the Neighborhood Bridges here in our town. We should approach them. Yeah. Usually with a steering committee like that, and we've found it to be very effective to set that up in every community, the cream rises to the top and people know who the ones are to tap to be able to have that particular position within a community that can be the connector. And so even though you might not feel the calling yourself to lead it, that's okay. But if you have the vision for it for your community, we'd love to work with you.
Ron Smith, I love what you're doing, building bridges to kindness and community around the state of Ohio. Keep up the good work. One more time, that website.
You can either go to neighborhoodbridges.org to find out how we can bring the Acts of Kindness Network to your particular community, or the Bridge to Kindness, which is actually an effort to elevate all of the nonprofits within your community and their awareness and who they are within your community so that more people can be helped through need.
Thank you, Ron Smith. Appreciate it very much.